The long weekend is coming up, so here is what to have on hand. Hi, I'm Carolyn Evans-Hammond and welcome to my tasting room. Carolyn's tasting room is where you can taste exciting wines with me. And this week, we taste 3 wines to keep on hand for the long weekend ahead. The wines include the 2023 The Beachhouse Sauvignon Blanc by Douglas Green, South Africa, the 2022 1 pound per acre Shiraz from South Australia, and the 2020 House of the Dragon Cabernet Sauvignon from California. So let's taste. And the first wine in our flight is perfect for the long weekend. Not only is it stylistically bright and clean and fresh and sunlit, but it's also called the Beachhouse. And who doesn't want to think of going to a beach house on the long weekend? So you can even, go vicariously through a glass of this wine. So pour yourself a glass, and it's the 2023 The Beachhouse from South Africa. Notice the color, how clear and bright it is. It's a pale straw, which you'd expect for Sauvignon Blanc, but we do know that this is about 15% Semillon in the blend, just kind of rounds out the balance and adds a little bit of nuance, which we'll look for on the nose and palate. So lovely in the glass. Give it a swirl and a sniff. Isn't that lovely? It's so pure fruited, not wildly aromatic, but just aromatic enough to lend lots of interest. And there's complexity. I always get pineapple in this glass, green pineapple and fresh sweet pineapple. Lovely. And then there's a little bit of lime, sort of a lime zest more than anything else. And a hint maybe of honeydew melon. Do you get that? I do. So now aromas, there are no wrong answers. It's really what you pick up, and it's based on your associations. So, if you find something else, it's all right. So let's have a sip and see what it tastes like. Isn't that beautiful? See what I mean by sunlit? It floods in like light and drenches the palate, tasting smooth and clean and sun-kissed. So nothing standing out technically. There's no shrill acidity. There's not a lot of sweetness at all. And there's no alcoholic heat at the back of the palate. That seamlessness is a mark of quality, which is so important at all price points, but especially at the lower price points, because that's where they can cut corners. And you don't want that. And that's why all the wines I feature here are great value, regardless of the price point. Now, this wine particularly sells for around $12 in Canada and around $11 in the US. Good value. Now let's taste it technically. See if we found the things we found on the nose reflecting on the palate. And we'll also look for complexity and length. Isn't that great? I immediately get pineapple, but it's dry. It's green pineapple, a little bit of sweet pineapple, but this is not a sweet wine. And then as it arcs and sort of tapers to the finish, that's where I get a little bit of, gravitas. There's a little bit of chalkiness, which I really like, and a hint or a whisper of salinity, which is really nice. Crushed oyster shell or something like that, even on the very finish, which leaves your palate seasoned, and suddenly I want, to grill some prawns. So the second wine in our flight is a big, bold red from Australia. It is Shiraz. And some would argue that there's no better grilling wine for burgers than Shiraz. But let's taste, you be the judge. So pour yourself a glass and let's look at the color. First, the color is textbook Shiraz, deep, dark purple. That's what you get, and that's what you'd expect, and that's perfect. It's very on point. But it also means, because you can't really tell whether it's clear, you want to give it a swirl and you want to give it a nose and see whether it's clean fruited, because that's the best way to detect whether this is, flawed in any way. Nope, perfect. It smells exactly as it should. Do you notice that? It smells like fruit, pure fruit with some oak. Now this has spent some time with with French oak. So that's where you're going to be getting some of the nuances you're getting associated with that. So for me, it's hazelnut. Maybe for you, it's dark chocolate or toasted tobacco. The dark chocolate would probably be also associated with the Shiraz, but sometimes it can come through from the oak. A little bit also of sort of a creamy note, which I like, sort of creme brulee or something like that. And there's some slate, there's lots going on in this glass for $10, and I like that. So let's have a sip and see what it's saying to us on the palate. Just let it sweep in. Lovely, right? Delicious. Palate drenching, smooth, not a lot of grip here, which Shiraz does not tend to have, you know, really grippy tins, and that's the case here. But it has enough tannic structure, enough structure in general to support the fruit and hold it on the finish, which I like. That length is important because it makes it food friendly. And like I said, this to me is the perfect burger wine. Let's have another sip and see what it's saying to us in terms of, you know, taste, character, flavor profile. Choco berry goodness, crushed berries, dark chocolate, as well as a creamy milk chocolate, sort of melting milk chocolate. And beneath that, there's some spicy underpinnings and some nutty notes, which lend complexity. And on the finishes where I get the toasted tobacco. Do you get that? As well as sort of blackberry. Do you get that? So it turns rather savory. On the very finish, I even get white pepper. So I love the complexity. I love the value proposition here. I think it's great value. It's a full-bodied red that is absolutely going to set you up for some of those long weekend moments. And the last wine in our flight is a 2020, the House of the Dragon Cabernet Sauvignon from California. So pour yourself a glass and let's taste. First in the glass, notice the depth of color. Great depth of color. I mean, Californian Cabernet is known for its lush, velvety reds, and it's got depth of color accordingly because those berries are small with thick skin, so it imparts great color, great concentration, and that wonderful velvety mouthfeel we all associate with Californian Cab. So there you have it, some color. Give it a swirl and a sniff. Now, I often get cassis from, from Cabernet Sauvignon. That's the classic aroma, but there's much more going on here because not only was it aged in French oak, but it was also finished in bourbon barrels. So we should get lots going on. So let's have a sniff. Yes, absolutely cassis, but do you get creme brulee and toffee? Crushed nuts. I'm getting almonds, crushed toasted almonds, as well as dark chocolate. A little bit of graphite, sort of pencil shavings going on. Black pepper. So this is a complex wine. There's things going on that keeps you coming back and offering you something different every time you approach it. And that is a mark of quality. And this is a premium wine that sells for around $30 in Canada and around $19 in the US. So you're going to be looking for a level of complexity and concentration for that price point. So I think it delivers. Let's have a taste and see how it expresses itself. Beautiful, lush, sort of rolls in all that velvetiness you'd expect. There's mid-palate stuffing, yes, but tapers, and as it tapers off, it provides lots of layers. So you're getting a little bit of nuttiness, a little bit of cocoa, a little bit of mixed peppercorn, so pink, green, black, and white peppercorn for sure. And it lingers on the finish, leaving the palate a little bit seasoned like creme brulee, which I find quite fetching. And underneath all of that, there's a little bit of bourbon barrel, a little bit of that caramelized note that's associated with bourbon, as well as, of course, the smokiness. But all of those are they score the fruit rather than, are too overt. And I like that. There's a classiness and a sophistication there. So I think this is a great value wine. It's beautifully balanced. And I think the House of the Dragon, associated with the TV show, will make it a little bit more fun if you have it on a long weekend and flick on the TV. So there you have it, a white and 2 reds to totally set you up for the long weekend. Which one did you like best? Let me know. Hit me up on social. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I'm coming right back with another flight of delicious wines, spirits, and other beverages here on Carolyn's Tasting Room so you can drink better and learn how.